Welcome back, you terrible tentacled nightmares.
Gets me every time when
Shrugging
John
your
does it.
way out of the primordial ooze of your own insignificance. We like reading too.
Huh?
We are
We're
the
here to
hosts of
stay.
the Disinformed Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
and we have an actual dyed-in-the-wool bona fide guest joining us for this fabulous fanfic. Kristen!
Yay!
Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
It's a wonderful way to celebrate your slipping out of a marvelous womb.
You mean my mother who you fucked?
Oh, yeah, we forgot
Listen,
to say.
we make sweet love, and I will not have you cheapen our relationship with your tawdry words.
That's good because she's an angel.
I agree.
She is.
And she needs to be treated as such.
She's an angel with anal. It's
She asked about your podcast and I said, "Oh, you wouldn't like it."
oh, she
Really?
would though.
Yes.
Oh, no. All right.
Tell her the name. She can't know that.
Anal
She
angel.
never finds any of this. It would be my nightmare.
Linda,
sorry,
I
Mom.
love
Sorry,
you.
God.
I truly
Sorry,
do.
Dad. Just kidding.
No, he doesn't know how to find things. Okay.
He doesn't know words.
No.
All right.
Huh?
For the uninitiated amongst you, welcome back to the fifth and final stirring installment of our fabulous fan fiction read of the Lovecraftian mythos penned Crazy Stupid Insane Love. It's Lovecraft, but it's a rom-com. We've had a lot of fun. What that also means is that there are 4 previous installments that you may have missed if this is your first foray, so you may want to dive into the playlist contained below in our glorious linktree, which also houses the array of other shows that we do, including our podcast, which flees from your preferred provider app every week, called the Disinformed Podcast. It is an inglorious little pod where we discuss random esoteric topics and we lie about them. It's fabulous fun. We are also back here every Freaky Friday to offer you Disinformed After Dark, where we get uncomfortable with Chuck Klosterman and decompress from the week's episodes. But this foray, of course, is our fanfic, where we do wonderful cold reads of random nonsense. And John has got a bit of a preamble he wants to throw at you.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you are a voice actor. Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, none of us except for Shane is even qualified to be doing this. So there you have it. Michael puts together these scripts from fanfics that I don't know how he finds them or why he finds them. And we read them as the author intended, goof ups and all. So that's as quick as I could make that preamble to get into the fun nonsense that is surprisingly the most character-laden installment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of
entire-
characters.
The entire time, there's been like 3 or max 4 characters, but for some reason, in the final scene, he brings in like 20 people.
Everyone's got to have a speaking role now.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
It's far from a speakeasy if you ever heard our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Wow.
is everyone ready for our final descent into madness?
Yeah.
Do
Hurt
it.
me, Daddy.
Another trip to the House of Milk and Pancakes.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So, the Disinformed Podcast cast finally brings to you the conclusion of Crazy Stupid Insane Love. Chapter 5. The final scene. It was close to noon now. They had both been sitting on the beach. Neither had said a word. Technically, they were cuddling. Thulu would deny any such acts. She was sitting in his lap, head against his chest, when she suddenly spoke up.
So,
She began.
want to do that again?
The kiss?
He asked awkwardly.
Or the stuff we did after?
She blushed, a deep red.
The kiss, of course. Do you think I put out all the time?
Cthulhu had heard that humans were the only species in the world that felt pleasure during reproduction. He scoffed at it back then, but now... Let's just say it was the first time he was envious of the humans.
No, but I don't mind kissing you again.
Then do it, and I might forgive you.
He gladly obliged. Both of them were on Sky 10, or whatever the humans called it.
You know what it's called. You know what it's called. You can't just increase it by 1.
At least until the voices came from the bushes.
Aw, my Cthulhu has finally grown up.
Oh, yeah. I think some tongue there, man.
I foresaw this in my morning coffee. Nope. I foresaw this in my coffee this morning. Both of them quickly parted, and their eyes shot over towards the shrubbery, where Dagon, Hasta, and Shub-Niggurath were hiding, albeit very poorly. Yet the three continued on as if everything was fine.
I remember when he was just a hatching, still blubbering and saying garble. It was before he learned to make other people do it for him.
No way, man. Really?
The coffee never lies. It is unlike the cake. You and Yeb now owe me a large sum of currency. Thulu shot up, steaming mad.
You idiots were betting on this. Wait. How much did you see?
The three nonchalantly turned to the angry great old one.
Oh, hey, man.
Dagon greeted.
We got here about 10 minutes ago.
Thulu sighed in relief. They didn't see that then. He was also relieved it was only these three and not Cthulhu.
It's the series arc. I actually went deeper. There you go.
No.
Now, not to break character, guys, how the hell do you say what I was supposed to say?
Hatagon!
Futagan!
Hatagon!
Fatagan!
All right, now one more
What is
time
that
with
even
feeling.
Fatagan!
He muttered. Out of the forecast.
Wrong.
I like that better.
Thanks, Holly.
Got that Rona Polona. Okay. Out of the forest came crashing a tall man. He had wild red hair and black eyes. He wore an overcoat with skulls on the shoulders, and instead of buttons, there were miniature skulls. Following him was a very angry Pinkette. Her red eyes were burning in anger. Her red dress was covered in leaves.
You're going to get kelp each night for the rest of your miserable existence.
And I'm gonna help her, you two-timing sack of Shantak bile.
Idh-yaa raised her hands above her head and formed a ball of chaotic energy. Yog-Sothoth pulled his fists back, and they began glowing. Thulu's wings sprouted from his back, and he used them to cover himself and Njal. He pulled her close, ready to die for her. The two attacks rushed forward, and Thulu knew he wouldn't be able to block both of them.
I love you, Nyal.
was all he could manage. Suddenly, the balls of pure chaos stopped in midair, combined together, and imploded. Everyone was shocked, and all was silent until the girlish shriek of terror coming from Dagon split the air.
What's he doing here?
They all turned to look at the interloper. Posse?
Posse!
That's me.
Haha!
He was slowly and clumsily making his way towards the group. He was large, bigger than Yog. He was wearing an odd overcoat that seemed to have weights attached to it. Heavy chains were wrapped around his wrists and ankles. He had a greasy mess of black hair. He wore small headphones, and everyone knew that they were blaring flute music constantly. He was whistling a happy tune from a radio song. He came up to Naal and slowly raised his enormous hand and rested it on her head, ruffling her hair. She smiled up at the brute.
Hi, Daddy. Why are you here?
He removed one of the buds from his ear and spoke slowly in a melancholic voice. Think, Eeyore.
I like to walk this beach sometimes.
What?
to walk this beach sometimes.
That's it.
Thank you.
Stephen King's Slow Mutie.
I prefer differently abled.
I do too. He placed the bud back in his ear. Aid lowered his iPod's volume. Much to everyone's relief. If the other bud had come out and he couldn't hear his flute music, he would become very upset. And when he was upset, universes had the tendency to explode.
Daddy, you remember Cthulhu, right?
He nodded slowly.
Well, he and I are in a relationship now.
She explained, despite sounds of protests coming from Idh-yaa, who was quickly silenced by Yog-Sothoth's hand.
Is that all right?
She asked nervously. The brute turned to Cthulhu, who gulped and raised his massive arms. Cthulhu braced for the end, but the universe-tearing pain never came. Instead, he felt his spine being cracked by two large masses of flesh, muscle, and industrial chain. At least the kink was gone.
Treat her well, son.
The giant said before stomping off into the distance. Everyone was shocked. Especially Cthulhu, and with good reason. After all, it wasn't every day that you got hugs from Yog-Sothoth. After the embodiment of chaos had disappeared, Cthulhu turned to his girlfriend.
Is he really okay with this? I mean, I've rearranged your guts. Is he really okay with this?
He asked.
It should be fine.
She replied. Unfortunately, she carelessly added,
As long as he doesn't find you that you fucked me.
Say it again.
Oh, I fucked you hard.
You fucked that up, Michael. Say it again.
As long as he doesn't find you that you fucked me.
She quickly slapped her hands over her mouth, and both of them blushed beet red. The jaws of the other 5 human-formed guards hung open. Idh-yaa's face slowly twisted in rage. Cthulhu sighed in exhaustion. He pointed in a random direction and yelled.
Jason!
That's a clip. He grabbed Njaal's hand and dragged her back to his bike. Once again, they were gunning down the highway. Njaal didn't have her helmet on, and her hair was billowing behind them. A smile was spread across her face and betwixt her thighs.
Ooh.
Sorry, excuse me. Editorializing again. Cthulhu had always looked down on humans. He saw them as pitiable sacks of meat that clung blindly to their foolish emotions like love and happiness. Now he wanted to be like them. He had tasted these emotions, and he wanted them all, even the bad ones, just as long as he did it with Njaal. His Njaal. He would trade all of his powers, and even He would trade all of his powers and even Ryla itself for her. Vas could eat his heart out because Cthulhu, after billions of years of thinking he knew what it was, had found out the real definition of insanity. It was crazy, stupid love.
He said what was mostly the title of the fanfic.
Indecency.
Fiend.
Michael? Michael?
I regret suggesting this.
I regret reading them.
I will
And
now
I've read My
proofread.
Immortal
My
in its
Immortal was
entirety.
great. This was not that good.
I will proofread these fan fictions before I bring them to the table.
Oh, you mean what you should be doing all the time?
I think
Oh, that wasn't part of the contract.
Wait, there's a contract?
Yeah.
There is now.
Yeah, there's one on
There
his
is
life.
now.
Ugh.
Oh,
Just
he'll be
one?
finding about that soon, hopefully.
It's like Michael's music career. You know, he had to stop, singing because of his throat. People threatened to cut it. So it's a good time for all involved
I
parties.
look at Tubra, I think.
Now,
Yeah,
do we need to ask our usual question that follows these fabulous fanfics, which is, do you think this was written satirically?
No, I think this is a neckbird. I think this is
Neckbirds
a
aren't real.
Weird weeb who jacked off to Lovecraft too many times, and then here we are.
It's really difficult to do unless you're racist.
I stand by my statement. I think this author probably reflected the views of Lovecraft.
Oof.
Indeed. Careful with the cat, Eugene.
Yeah.
Well, folks,
yeah.
we sincerely appreciate you taking this tawdry little journey with us, and yowza. We hope to have far more entertaining fare headed down the pike in your general direction in the future, but this was, it was nice for what it was.
Whatever it, yeah.
Don't lie.
If you like that kind of thing, this is the kind of thing that you would also like.
That is very true.
Ah, tautologies. I like those.
Don't you talk about my
Bless you.
tautologies.
Ooh.
Well, if you do, you're gonna clean it up.
Show me them sloppers.
Yeah, you big titted animal.
We.
You keep
Aw,
your Jamaican
jeez.
jealousy to yourself, sir. Well, ladies and germaphobes, boils and ghouls, we always are happy to find you here. And if you enjoyed what you heard on this groovy little show, Michael has got some instructions for you.
You can seek therapy, but while you're doing that, smash that like button right here, there, everywhere, who knows, and ring the bell. Leave a like and a comment, please. I beg.
Why do you
Yeah.
let him talk?
I know.
I'm a glutton for punishment
Indeed.
and most everything else, truthfully. But he, she, me, bees, comes.
Come through
How?
the screen.
Okay, bye.
Whenever I see you, all I want to do is the big comes.
Indeed. Well, waiting for the big soft sting of death. That is Michael. We appreciate all you hanging out with us, and we hope that you keep on coming back. It's worth it if you work it, and we are worth it. So, Monday morning, find the podcast anywhere you want, because it is everywhere. Quite
Indeed.
literally. Everywhere you want to be.
Even
Wonderful
Stitcher.
Wednesdays. We are going to continue with installments of fan fiction of a sort. We have a few surprises up our sleeves, which we hope that you will enjoy. Some of them are going to be very bizarre, but they will be entertaining
Probably.
nonetheless.
Probably better than this.
That's not
Definitely.
difficult. Yes.
It's a
And
promise.
of course, Friday mornings, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Here on the Tubes of You, you can, of course, find Disinformed After Dark, which is where we will be headed next. And Kristen is going to join us for an interesting look into something that suits her profession.
Oh.
Ah.
I do love it
You
when the
got
cards
signed on.
produce something interesting. But
So, yeah,
for
find
those of us here at our fantastic fanfic, and John, please, you were saying?
Oh, no, I was just saying find us there. You need to find out what Kristen's going to be tickled by. And it's not me.
Ew.
There goes my fanfic.
I'm
So-
gonna be down.
Michael, ew.
As the followers of Thulu might say, you might have a birthday sect. All right. Love, peace, and chicken grease to all of you out there for Disinformed and our fantastical fan fictions. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
Hi, Michael.
I'm Courtney.
I'm regrettably Kristen.
And please, I beg of you, enjoy your milk and pancakes.